So let me put it back on the screen. So the wealth rectangle, the way I defined it in the book, in my book, it's the 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. Is basically a measure of how much economic power you have, which is where the length of the rectangle is defined by the number of years that you've spent accumulating the power, and also the number, and then the width is defined by the number of teammates you have that are helping you to accumulate your power. That it's so what this really says is that all else equal, a person who's been accumulating wealth in all of its forms for a longer period of time is on average going to have more wealth than someone who's only been doing it for a short period of time. Also, it says that the person who has a lot of people helping them, who's operating with wealth as a team sport, is going to have more wealth than someone who is operating solo. So, what I want you to really think about is the Black experience. So, the Black experience is one where we are losing in both time and teammates. So here on the left, you can see the results of a wealth triangle when you have lots of people working together across several generations. So if me, the grandmother, and the great grandfather and the great great grandfather were all on the same page, and we made sure that the wealth that we accumulated was protected and passed to the next generation, and then on top of that, we got the whole family involved. All 12 of us are working together in an ecosystem to build wealth that benefits the family. We're going to have a pretty damn big wealth triangle. We're going to be just like that giraffe that has lots of territory, and we're going to be identified as a wealthy person. The wealth triangle that you often see in the Black community, or really even in the white community sometimes as well, with this rugged individualism that we have in America, looks more like the one on the right, which is basically a flat little straight line. It's pretty much one dimensional in scope. And what does that personify? Well, instead of having multiple people working together, which gives you width on your rectangle, there is no width in a straight line. It's one person doing it all by themselves. So when you fall into the culture of, I don't need no man, that's what you end up doing. If you fall into the culture of I don't need black women, screw black women, then you're doing it. You're looking like that line. When you say, "Oh, these children, I ain't got time for these kids," and you're not investing in your children to get them to help you out, then you're pretty much operating as a straight line. This little straight line here, your wealth rectangle will not typically grow because you're doing it all by yourself. And then on top of that, not only are you losing in terms of width in the number of teammates you have, because you don't have any healthy relationships, because somebody told you that talking about relationships was for simps or sissies or whatever people think. Like, nobody really talks about relationship management. They think it's all fluffy stuff. No, having good relationships means you have teammates. It means you have people that you can work with, that you can turn to, that can help you get things done. Dr. George C. Frazier says it all the time. He says all black people need is each other. But then on top of not having adequate relationships that build the wealth, you don't even have a lot of time that you can put into it. Why is that limited? Well, because you started building wealth when you were 35, and then you start getting tired when you're 55 or 60. So you're trying to do in 20 years by yourself what other families have done over 100 years with 40 or 50 teammates. How in the hell can one person working solo for 20 years accomplish the same as a group of 40 or 50 people who've been working collectively on code since 1902? You can't compete. You can't compete. You cannot compete. So why? Well, because you don't understand the basic idea of the wealth rectangle. Wealth is a team sport that involves an accumulation of assets over a long period of time. Mathematically speaking, I can show you equations for wealth. This is what we do as professors. All we do are equations. I'm a mathematician. I can show you equations for wealth that will show you in a very clear and specific way that the more time you have to allow wealth to grow, the more wealth you're going to have. And it's not just sort of a casual growth, it's exponential. It possesses what we call in mathematics convexity. It has momentum. When they say the rich get richer, or when you have money, it's easy to make money, that is 100% true. To visually see it, imagine what happens when I push a heavy car down a hill. If I get that car over the hill to a certain point, that car is going to fly down the hill because now it's got gravity at its back. You can't even stop the car now. So when you get to the point where you've been accumulating wealth with your teammates over a long period of time, you get to the point where the exponential growth starts to kick in, and you get to the point where you can't help but to make money. Elon Musk has probably made $10 million this morning because he can't stop making money. It's impossible. So what I want you to understand is how wealth operates. And I want you to really internalize and take a look, or consider anyway, this wealth triangle concept, and understand that a lot of the reason that we miss the wealth and we're not conscious of it and we can't see it is because we don't understand the dynamics that define it. We don't understand all of the non-financial dimensions of financial success. It's almost like there's like this whole shadow experience connected to wealth, all these variables that connect to money that we don't even think about because we think we're focused just on the money. But if you focus just on the money, you'll never understand the money. If you just focus on the money, you will never understand the money. And what I notice culturally speaking is I see a lot of people where they talk about money, they want money, they'll do anything for money, they'll screw over people for money, they'll work their butts off for money, and it's money, 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 get money, get money, get money. But they don't really understand the mechanics of what makes money actually appear in your life. They don't understand the spiritual and psychological aspect of money. They don't understand what money consciousness even looks like. They don't understand how relationships intersect with money, how mental and physical health intersects with money, because mental and physical health, if they're not properly dealt with, can actually become a drain on your economics. Do you understand how much money gets taken from the Black community just from the fact that our mental health is off, is not where it should be? Do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know how much money, how many trillions of dollars they've taken from you just from the fact that they know that your self-esteem is not intact and that you will give them money just so you can feel better because you got Gucci and Coach and Prada on your body? Do you understand how much money gets taken because you're so stressed out about life and you haven't coped with it that you go to the club and you make it rain so you can feel good about yourself, and then you get a bottle of Henny that's where they charge you $500 a bottle where you're trying to show off for people who don't even matter because you've never been fully spiritually developed enough to know that this is stupid. And do you understand how much money gets taken just by the fact that they promote a culture that elevates stupid, unconscious, low vibrational behavior that ultimately becomes a massive wealth drain? And I could just keep going on and on and on. I could keep going, but I'm not going to continue to go because I hope that you'll get this point. So the bottom line, the simple idea here behind the wealth triangle is I want you to consciously think about the teammates that you have. And if you don't have the teammates you're looking for, get some. Get some. The best way to get good teammates is to be a good teammate. The best way to receive is to know how to give, to understand reciprocity. I had somebody ask me one time, they said, why do you, there was a person that I supported and it wasn't the best thing for me. I didn't get anything from it. And they said, what is the source of your loyalty? Like, why would you support that person when you're not getting anything for it? And I just said, well, because I believe in the rule of reciprocity. I believe that 8 times out of 10, if I give, I'm going to eventually receive. It's real basic. It's not complex. If I give, I'm going to receive. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I won't receive. Sometimes it's not going to work out. But when I extend support or kindness towards someone without asking for anything in return, what I'm really doing is I'm acting like an investor.